The Equilibrant in Bible, the balancing force. It is called restitution. It is called restoration. Equilibrant by the divinity, or is the divinity, and it is a force that when applied to a system, a believer, it balances out the existing forces, the instability by satanity and by humanity, and it brings the system into equilibrium, which is stability. So tendencies are thrashed out by the equilibrant, which is Jesus Christ himself. So it is essentially the force that when added to the existing forces, result in a net force of zero. It gives solutions and deliverances. So the triune characteristics of equilibrant, equal magnitude. We said that the equilibrant must have the same magnitude as the resultant of the existing forces in Jude 1:24. Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling and to preserve you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. Equilibrant, Ephesians 3:20. Now unto him, the equilibrant, that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. It cancels out the all other external forces. Number 2, opposite direction. The equilibrant must act in the opposite direction to the resultant and must also act in the same line of action. In Psalm 1:6 verse 11, thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. So understanding this concept, you apply it in your real life application. In Job 20:18, that which he labored for shall he restore and shall not swallow it down because of the equilibrant. According to his substance shall the restitution, compensation, equilibrant be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Job 20:19. Because he had oppressed and had forsaken the poor, because he had violently taken away an house which he builded not. So he has to restore it as an equilibrant. Leviticus 19:36. Just balances, just weights, a just effort, and a just hin shall ye have. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. God himself teaching the children of Israel about being just, practicing equilibrium and practicing the act of equilibrant, because he is the equilibrant. In Matthew 12:13, then said he to the man, stretch forth thy hand, and he stretched it forth, and it was restored whole, like as the other. Christ the equilibrant. In Matthew 17:11, and Jesus answered and said unto them, Elias truly shall first come and restore all things. Jesus Christ the equilibrant. Luke 19:8, and Zacchaeus stood and said unto the Lord, behold, Lord, the half of my goods I give to the poor, and if I had taken anything from any man by false accusation, resultant, I restore him fourfold. Equilibrant. Psalm 23 verse 1, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The equilibrant. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, he leadeth me beside the still waters. Peace. Equilibrant. He restored my soul. Equilibrant. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Joel 2:25. And I will restore to you the years that the locust had eaten. Equilibrant. The cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. Psalm 51 verse 12. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Equilibrant. Isaiah 1:26. And I will restore thy judges and as the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward thou shalt be called the city of Jerusalem, of righteousness, the faithful city. Isaiah 57:18. I have seen his ways and will heal me. I will lead him also and restore comfort unto him and to his mourners. He will restore comfort. The equilibrant. Isaiah 58:12. And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places. Thou shalt raise up the foundations of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairer, the equilibrant of the breach, the restorer of paths, to dwell in. The equilibrant. Jeremiah 27:22. They shall be carried to Babylon, and there shall they be unto the day that I will visit them. The equilibrant, said the Lord. Then I will bring up them and restore them to this place. Jeremiah 30:17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, said the Lord, because they call thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. The equilibrant will come and restore peace. Command to assume the position of the equilibrant in Galatians 6:1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore, be the equilibrant, such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Hebrews 13:9. But I beseech you the rather to do this, that I may be restored to you the sooner. Ruth 4:14. The women said unto Naomi, blessed be the Lord which hath not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel. And he shall be unto thee a restorer of thy life, Equilibrant, and a nourisher of thine old age. For thy daughter-in-law, which loveth thee, which is better to thee than 7 sons, had borne him, Equilibrant. 1 Samuel 12:3. Behold, here I am witness against me before the Lord, and before his anointed. Whose ox have I taken, or whose ass have I taken, or whom have I defrauded? Whom have I oppressed, or of whose hand have I received any bribe, or blind my eyes therewith? And I will restore it, you, Equilibrant. 2 Samuel 9:7. And David said unto him, Fear not, for I will surely show thee kindness for Jonathan thy father's sake, and will restore thee all the land of Saul thy father, and thou shalt eat bread at my table continually. The presence of Equilibrant. 2 Samuel 12:6. And he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. 1 Kings 13:6. And the king answered and said unto the man of God, Entreat now the face of the Lord thy God, and prayed for me that my hand may be restored me again. And the man of God besought the Lord, and the king's hand was restored him again, and became as it was before, Equilibrant. 2 Kings 8:6. And when the king asked the woman, she told him. So the king appointed unto her a certain officer, saying, Restore all that was hers, and all the fruits of the field, since the day that she left the land, even until now. Leviticus 25:27. Then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession. Judges 17:3. And when he had restored 1100 shekels of silver to his mother said, I have wholly dedicated the silver unto the Lord from my hand for my son to make a graven image and a molten image. Now therefore I will restore it unto thee. It is time to pray and to commune with the author of Equilibrant. Acknowledge the equilibrium of the Most High God. He is the God of order, the God of stability, the God of equality. Rise and acknowledge him with the edge of the Most High. Acknowledge him as a pivot and as the Almighty. He can sanction your edge to be wedge on his knife edge. Pledge your allegiance to his ledges. Commune with your Maker. In Exodus 15:1. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel they sung unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider had he thrown into the sea. He is the God that balances by justice system, and out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Begin to commune with your Maker, and let him help you, let him guide you, let him direct you, in the name of Jesus Christ. And I have filled him with the Spirit of God, in wisdom and in understanding and in knowledge and in all manner of workmanship for stability and for equilibrium. Pray and receive from the Lord. Let him stabilize your life today. They made shoulder pieces for it to couple it together. The coupling system from above is a state of equilibrium. By the 2 edges was it coupled together. 2 for stability, 1 on the left hand side and 1 on the right hand side. And Anna prayed and said, My heart rejoiceth in the Lord, my horn is exalted in the Lord, my mouth is enlarged over my enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation. There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our God. Talk no more so exceeding proudly, let no arrogancy come out of thy mouth, for the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed into, and by equilibrium the bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumble are guarded with strength for equilibrium. They that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry ceased, so that the barren had born 7, and she that had many children is waxed feeble. Pray, the God is a God of order, the Lord is a King of glory. The Lord killeth and maketh alive, he bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up, the God of justice. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich, he bringeth low and lifted up. He raised up the poor out of the dust, and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill, to set him among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the laws, and hath set the word upon them. For equilibrium he will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. Equilibrium is the answer. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed. Hast not thou made an hedge about him? He is the God of equilibrium. and about his house, and about that he had on every side. Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. As a student, pray that your knowledge will be increased into the state of equilibrium state and into the state of stability by the resultant and the equilibrant of heaven. Let thy work appear unto thy servants. Student, pray, let the work of God appear in their midst, in physics, and thy glory unto their children. And let the beauty of the Lord our God success be upon us, and establish thou the work of our hands upon us, the manifestation by result. Yea, the work of our hands establish thou it. Remember that all things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. Equilibrium inclusive. He that spared not his own son, but delivered him up for us all for equilibrium, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things? For stability, for it became him, for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, equilibrium, in bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings. The stable one is the equilibrium one, the resultant one, the equilibrant one, the pivoted one, the coupling one, the balanced one, the inclusive one, the conclusive one, the exclusive one, the ultimate one, the great one, the unending one. We submit ourselves to these facts and the realities of his benevolence. Pray until you are satiated and satisfied and pushed into the state of stability against instability and neutral equilibrium. Connect to our social media handles at Physics Bible, the Triune Physics, for latest update. Thanks for joining us. Stay equipped, stay liquid.